everybody. My name is Liz White, and welcome to our first ever daily reading reflection video with Quo Vadis. We are so happy to be able to be spiritually with all of you during this time, and we just hope that these videos help you to grow into a deeper space with Jesus and deeper intimacy, because we know it's hard to be at home and be isolated, or at least it is for me. And so drawing closer to Jesus, drawing into his word, into his embrace during this time is the best thing that we can do. So I would like to start by jumping into talking about the gospel reading today. So the gospel is from John. And as I was reading through the gospel, just kind of looking to see what was sticking out, what was going to pierce my heart, there was this wonderful line that Jesus asked the sick man in the gospel. And I think it applies to all of us. And it is, do you want to be well? I could just imagine Jesus looking at the sick man tenderly and kindly as he lays there suffering. And he just looks into his eyes and says, do you want to be well? And I think that the sick man in this gospel passage is all of us. It's me, it's you. It's anybody that has sinned, which is everybody. I raise my hand, I'm a sinner. And I think that Jesus is asking us all during this time of rest is, do we want to be well? Maybe we're physically okay. Maybe we haven't, hopefully none of you have gotten the coronavirus, but are we spiritually well? And I think that during this time, it's really good to stop and reflect on where we are in our life and where we want to go. Where are we going, Quo Vadis? That's just pulling it all together. But one of the questions that I was once asked by a priest was, he said, think about your relationship with Jesus on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you have no relationship with Jesus. Who is Jesus? 10 being I am a living saint. And I think of Jesus every single moment of every single day. Where would you place yourself on this scale? So let's say that you place yourself at a 6. Then the next question is, what is keeping you from going from a 6 to a 7? What's keeping you from going to that next level with Jesus? This was a really good question, and it made it really tangible for me to think about my relationship with the Lord. And I was reflecting on this question, and I would say that with my relationship with God right now, I'm at a 6. I would say that I'm thinking about him often throughout my day, but it's also very easy for me to put him on the back burner when I get stressed out or just focused on my job or things that I need to do. And so in order for me to go from a 6 to a 7, I think Jesus is asking me to spend more time with him. To not make it where I am spending time with him with my leftover time, but asking me to spend time with him, that's the first thing that I put into my schedule, is this time I'm going to set aside for Jesus. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to spend 10 minutes in prayer. And I'm going to take 30 minutes, now that I'm at home with nothing to do, I'm going to take 30 minutes in the afternoon to just sit and talk with Jesus. And so my question to you is, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10, and what's keeping you from going to that next level? Jesus wants us to be well, not just physically, but also spiritually well. And I think that one of the things that took me a really long time to figure out was, if we want to go to a new level in our relationship with Jesus, right? If we want to go from that 6 to the 7, we have to live our lives in a way that we have never lived them before. And maybe that sounds obvious. Maybe you're like, duh, Liz. But it took me a really long time to figure that out. That I would always say, like, I really want to grow my relationship with Jesus. I really want to grow my relationship with Jesus. And then I would just keep living my life in the same way. I would be busy almost every minute of every day. And when I'd get to the end of the day, I'd be so exhausted that I wouldn't have time to say my prayers. I would fall asleep as I was saying my prayers. And I just couldn't understand why my relationship with Jesus wasn't changing. And I realized it was because I was not changing my own life. I had to start saying no to things, and I had to start saying yes to Jesus. And so I just challenge all of you as you reflect on the gospel reading today, and reflect on Jesus looking at you tenderly and saying, do you want to be well? Do you want to live a life that bears great fruits, just like those trees that are near the river in the first reading, that are always bearing abundant fruit? Do we want to live a life that is leading souls to Christ? Do we want to live a life where we are wonderfully and intimately and we're just in love with Jesus? And people know that about us because they can see God's love radiating from us. Is that what we want to be? Do we want to live in a space where we're not afraid, that we're not scared, that we're not stressed out because the peace of Jesus flows over us, because we know who we are and we know who's in charge of everything in our lives, and it's the Lord. So friends, as we go through our week this week, just ask Jesus, what are spaces in my life that are bearing great fruit, that are bringing you closer, that are bringing me closer to you? And what areas of my life are keeping me from going to that next level with Jesus? I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you all can just enter into a deeper space with Jesus and stay healthy and safe. And hopefully I'll see you all soon.